Good afternoon. I would like to begin by sharing the opening of my paper entitled Marxism times Gender times Property times Queer, before telling you a little bit about myself and how I came to writing this piece. Following that, I will go into the main points presented in my paper and offer extracts from my work. Tacitus proclaimed that a desire to resist oppression is implanted in the nature of man. I say the depths of oppression can only be cured through understanding the nature of oppression itself. Understand oppression in its entirety and one can obtain liberation. To live blindly, believing one is neither oppressed nor downtrodden, must be the existence of the white heterosexual sexed male of the elite class, to whom I have little affinity and certainly no reference point, to whom I can make love to but never love like, whose house I may clean, but whose dirt I will always find myself wallowing in. His wife I may service, his service maker I may be, whose penis I may pleasure, or whose eunuch I may soon become. He has castrated me from the potential I could have come to have known. It is he I must now equalize without castration. My name is Zuleika Shaheen. I was born and raised in London, United Kingdom. I am of mixed-race Turkish origin, and I'm a senior at Soka University of America, currently completing my undergraduate degree. My entire reasoning for writing this paper and taking an advanced class in queer theory and feminist theory, and indeed going to Soka University at the age of 24 to embark on an academic career, was precisely for the reasons of understanding how I have come to be the woman I am today. I wanted to get to the heart of the beast of this repression, and I wanted to not only understand repression at all levels, but I wanted to study it, touch it, taste it, and apply its complex facets to my own being, because I knew if I could not even come to name the repression for what it was, let alone understand its workings, I would never be able to advance. My study was therefore a very selfish endeavor with possible selfless outcomes, and I certainly had no vision of ever being a representative for any given group or bearing any torches or seeking to reach out and help people. I just wanted to offer explanations how I saw them. If that creates links and allows for the sharing of ideas and creates communication and connections, then great. In 2012, I set up a blog on WordPress called Must Be Succumb, and I've since been working with Left Unity in the United Kingdom, which is an attempt to create a new party on the left in Britain, following a public call by film director Ken Loach in the Guardian newspaper, following his film The Spirit of 45 that resulted in 8,000 signatures to the call for a new party. So most of all, I'm working to be a part of that change right now in the United Kingdom. My paper appropriates a newfound understanding of Marxism, queer theory, and feminist theory in what is being deemed Marxist queer gendered. Introducing queer theory to the question of Marx not only destabilizes the entire capitalist paradigm, but allows for a future vision of possibility. This theory appropriates that capitalism is the overarching power ideology that has created heteronormativity and patriarchy as the means to controlling bodies, meanings, identity, and gender. In fact, I argue that the destruction of capitalism will lead to a non-normative society of possibilities. Where Marxism itself is a totalizing theory that encapsulates the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, queer theory serves to remove the notion of one and the same, where Marx totalizes the actors involved. Queer theory offers a productive way of rethinking, challenging, and troubling the production of subjects and subject positions, because it does not operate by totalities. Since writing about queer theory, many have asked me what it is, what it actually is, and stating that they have never heard of queer theory. Many people misunderstand or place limitations on the theory itself. To me, queer theory is merely any theory, paradigm, or set of ideals which seek to destabilize the heteronormative paradigm. It is not, or has it ever been, a theory of the gay, or an attempt to explain the world from a homosexual standpoint. Rather, queer theory seeks to continuously open the limits of possibility. In Gender Trouble, Judith Butler writes, I continue to hope for a coalition of sexual minorities that will transcend the simple categories of identity, that will refuse the erasure of bisexuality, that will counter and dissipate the violence imposed by restrictive bodily norms. I would hope that such a coalition would be based on the irreducible complexity of sexuality and its implication in various dynamics of discursive and institutional power, and that no one will be too quick to reduce power to hierarchy and to refuse its productive political dimension. Therefore, To counteract the totalizing effect of Marxism, my paper recognizes that even within the proletariat class, there can be many ways within which to exist, the world of possibility. Similarly, even the binary transgender terms, male to female and female to male themselves, are totalizing, asserting that an individual must be one to transfer, translate, and move into being the other. My paper seeks to remove all of these totalizing and binary opposite notions to realize a future that encapsulates one class, the working class, within which exists an infinite amount of possibilities and combinations in which there is no stagnant ideal of sex, sexuality, or gender. My paper challenges this exact kind of relation between capitalism and communism and the notion that there needs to be an alternative to capitalism. Such a claim would see communism and a non-normative paradigm in opposition to the original existence of capitalism. It would require capitalism to remain with communism as nothing more than its binary opposite. Thus, my paper explores the revolutionary effect of action emanating from within the capitalist paradigm, a communist revolution that uses queer theory not only to destabilize throughout the revolutionary process, but to help realize what a future possibility or a future of possibilities may look like. Finally, moving away from the totalizing effects of Marxism and indeed all other notions of political, economic, and material understandings of gender and sexuality. The final vision is thus a Marxist political economic paradigm within which exists the queer essence of infinite possibilities. Through the Communist Manifesto, one can perceive a future in which there exists no races, no classes, and ultimately no genders, because the overarching repressive feat of capitalism has been removed. My paper assumes that all forms of repression, via race, gender, and sexuality, exist under and as a result of the capitalist condition. Instead, I seek to explain how the writings of Marx and Engels, their perspective on private property, the capital class, the relation of the worker to the means of production, informs not only how we talk about feminism and queer theory, but ultimately how we dream about them. Capitalism is the overarching power ideology that has generated and continues to reinforce patriarchy and the heteronormative paradigm as the method of operation in order to control bodies, minds, and genders for the purposes of the continued generation of capital and the upholding of the capital class. Private property is the factor which represses everyone who is not a